These are the viral Japanese cream sandwiches. All over TikTok, all over Instagram. And here we are. Begin this illustration, choosing the outline color, new swatch. I decided to go with the green for this one. Turn off all the layers, go straight to the outline layer. And this one we're going to start outlining, zoom in so you can get a better view. Start outlining the actual bread of the sandwich. And this is, I believe, a fried dough, fried bread, and that they fill with cream. If you haven't seen them, you can look them up on TikTok. You can see them on IG. You can see them just online, period. And when you look up viral Japanese food, and these are sold in Japan, of course. And here, just outlining the bread. Just trying to, because the bread cannot be straight, so they have to have some texture because it's bread. So you have to show all the texture of the bread, the outline of the bread, the crumbs, and all that little stuff that will add to the illustration in the end. So all these are just adding texture to the fried bread. Yeah, I haven't had these yet, but I can't wait to try them just to see what they taste like. And just outlining the sandwich itself. And the part of this illustration that's going to be, I would say, either the toughest or the most challenging is going to be getting those tones right of the bread and of the cream. Because you have to create contour of the cream, even though it's a slight tone, meaning the part that's in the light and the part that's away from the light. That's going to be the most challenging. And that was the pencil tool. Just outlining that with the pencil tool. And this one here, right back to the pencil tool. And the pencil tool is a smooth tool, but it allows you to do everything in one stroke as opposed to clicking on things and getting different kinds of strokes. This one, you just continue to move the mouse or move your hand or move the pen or whatever you're using to draw in one continuous shape. And the more you move it, the rougher the lines are. The smoother lines come from just keeping your hand straight. So in this case, I move my hand a lot when I'm creating those. I move them around a lot so I can get the texture of the dough or the bread itself. Here I'm going to the other layer. The other layer is just anything that's going to be on top of the bread, but not necessarily the cream itself. So it's going to be the layer in between the cream and in between the sandwich itself. And that's what these are going to do. They're going to create shape. They're going to create contour. They're going to create more definition. And the more of these you do, the better it'll be in the end. Yeah, just going through, creating more and more. And because these will play a big part in the end. It's creating more of the shapes, more of the outlines. And these will sit under the cream, but on top of the bread itself. So it gives it a nice shape, gives it nice contour, nice texture. Yeah, and this I'll probably make the cream itself in the end. Sometimes you don't know what's going to be wet until you get to the end, and you kind of choose to see. You can kind of see where you're going with it, where you want to go with it. And here I'm just creating the outlines for the wet cream. Going through, zooming in. Switching the screen so that I can see more and more of the cream itself. Even though there's something not there, you can kind of make it up in your mind where the rest of the cream is going to come from, where it's going to go. And this is just the cream of the sandwich, the white fluffy part that you see in the middle. That's where the cream is. And for these Japanese cream sandwiches, it's all about the smaller detail. It's about getting the shades right and about the detail. So the crumbs, the other parts where you show. And this one, I'm actually decided to split the cream in half. Meaning I'm not going to just create one shape around all of the cream itself. And I could do that with a gradient. and then slide the middle of the gradient over to create a line. But once I realized that I don't want the entire gradient to just show one straight line, I want to break it up. I want it to be off center because it's cream. It's not something that's going to be an exact straight line. So I decided to create this one. This shape here to the left is going to be the higher part of the cream. And then you come down here and you're going to create the right side of the sandwich itself, and this is going to be the low cream. This is going to be the darker one. And then it just makes it easier, but it makes it a little more precise when you're thinking about the end illustration. And this is just a vector illustration of the Japanese cream sandwich that's going viral all over TikTok, all over the gram. And if you just search it, it'll come up. You know, it's just one of those items that a lot of people have visited and a lot of people have tested it themselves, and they say it's really good and it's really something to get when you go to Japan. Here, just creating more of the outline of the cream itself. So yeah, and that outline is complete for that. Now here, I'll just go through and check my layers to see where I'm at. I'm just extending the background, so when I check it, I can just see black and not the actual color of the outline that I chose for the reference photo. And now it's coming along. You start to see some of the contours, some of the shapes, and now I like it. Now we'll move on to the next layer, to the mids layer. And this is going to be one of those quicker illustrations. There's not much to it, I would say. It's pretty straightforward. You know, you just kind of outline and draw what's there. And these tones right here are going to be that part that's on the outside. So I'm using the actual, well, this is one of my specialty brushes that I use. It's kind of like a broken up brush where it gives sporadic brushes of strokes of the brush itself. It's not really just a one shape thing. It's it gives a soft feel, or softens up the illustration itself. And I take that around, and that's going to create like the swiping effect of what they use to put these Japanese creams into the bread itself. Because they take the knife and then they scoop it and they just shape it with this knife that they use. And once it's in there, then they swipe it and they kind of clean off the cream from the knife straight into the sandwich, and the sandwich is filled with cream. I've seen it a lot, and I think I like it. I like the way it looks, and I thought it was just something interesting, something different than I've done before. Just checking the layers once again, seeing if I'm accurate, seeing if I'm going somewhere with it. Yeah, I'm just trying to make all the lines a little more uniform for the finished illustration. Now I'm moving on to the lows layer. I'm just gonna go to the highs layer. I decided to create all of these little indentions from the highs layer. The part of the cream that's not exactly 100% gonna be flat, it's gonna add texture. And these will just be the contrast, meaning these will be, if it's light, these are gonna come in and be the darker parts. If it's the darker part, then it's gonna be the lighter part. And it's just gonna give it that non-flat look. And this is gonna be the crumbs of the actual fried bread itself, some of the divots of the cream itself. Something that is very important when it comes to these illustrations, because you want to get the actual contour of the cream itself. Yeah, see, I'm just going back and adding detail. Yeah, I'm adding detail. And the reason I'm adding this detail is because this is the part of the knife that leaves those divots inside the cream itself. And this will add to the fluffiness, to the contour of the cream. This will actually give it a sense of realism that I didn't have before with any of the other shapes. I didn't want it to be just one straight shape for the cream. And these just add just a little here and there. And when I color them, you'll see how what they add to the illustration itself. Like, once again, when you're adding these, you're not thinking about what's going on, or I didn't want it to be flat. I want the cream to have almost 3-dimensional, if not 4-dimensional. So that's why I add. The more detail you add, the more dimensions you're going to add to this. And yeah, I know I can't see them here, so there you go. Now you can see the lines that I'm doing. Because I'm looking for dimension. I'm looking for fluffiness. I'm looking for not only a 2D shape, but a 3D shape. And if I can try to get one a 4D shape. Very 3-dimensional. Detailed. Working on the details. Going back to the highs layer. Because this is highlighting the lighter part of the cream. Because all the cream is not going to have the same dimension. It's going to be different dimensions for different parts of the cream. So I go through and I create different parts of the cream. The highest part of the cream, the lowest part of the cream. And I switch these down to the outline layer. Because I want the cream to be in the background. I want all the detail to be in the front. And it's just adding more and more detail. Now I'm adding the detail of the fried bread, because when the bread is fried, it doesn't come out all the same tone. And the more detail I add to the bread, the more texture I give to the bread, the more realism that it takes on. This is a realistic vector illustration. So I'm adding different tones to the bread to give it more texture, more detail. And the more of these I add in the end, the better off it's going to be. Because I really want it to look like bread. And this was something, believe it or not, it's a little frightening to do, because you don't know. Sometimes if you take all of this time to do something like this and it doesn't turn out great, it's not very rewarding. You feel like you almost wasted your time, in a sense. Or you spend the time, or you spend another 30 minutes to an hour to fix it. And yes, it does take that long. Sometimes it takes longer. And it's very different, very, very different than what you think. So a lot of times that's what happens. So to prevent that, I just go through and I just keep adding details. And sometimes in the ends, and these are the lows. This is the lows layer, adding the darker parts of the bread itself. So then I'll go through and I'll just make the lines a little more prominent so you can see. But when you don't follow through and you don't have great detail, then it starts to take a flat appearance. And for something like this, I don't like my food to be flat when I'm creating it. I know how to make flat food, just omit the details. Then it just has, the backgrounds, which is the main color, and then just put a little things on top. But the more detail you add, the better off the realism and the textures of the illustration will be. And once again, these are the lows. These are the parts of the cream that don't get a lot of light. So they're going to make the light parts even lighter. And when you put these on top of the white cream, it's really going to give it a grand texture in the end. Like, the illustration itself it's practically done, the illustration. But all these little details will matter in the end. I'm going for a photorealism. I'm not always going for photorealism, but this one I chose to because I wanted to give the fluffiness and the contours of the actual cream, because it's a Japanese cream sandwich, so this is very important. want to get the textures accurate. And that's the whole point of all of this. Just get the accurate texture of the actual cream. All those little cracks and crevices, all those little indentations in the cream, all those little shadows that take place with the cream itself. And that's why all these little things come into play. Yeah, don't forget all the little crumbs. And I'm just mainly using the brush tool for that. Because when you go in with the brush tool, they have a consistency. See, now we're just going to color. Really color everything in. So already halfway done. Now I'm just choosing the color for the cream itself. Because it's not going to be just white. You know, it's funny when I thought about this, I was like, am I going to use just white? But then you realize you can't use just white because the cream is not really 100% white. Just like the bread is not 100% brown. There's different browns in there. There's light brown, there's dark browns, there's darker browns. And now I'm just coloring. Getting the colors for all of the breads that are going to go through. And once I get all the colors that I choose, then I'll start coloring, like right now. See, this is a gradient, because I'm trying to add texture to the bread, to the sandwich bread. Trying to mimic that it's fried. Mimic that part is the lighter part of the bread that sticks out. And the darker part of the bread is the part that's closer to the cream itself. So it gives a little more texture, is what's happening here. And these gradients really do matter. Like, you can just make them one color if you choose to. But what I'm looking for is contour. I'm looking for shapes. I'm looking for a realism. I want it to look as realistic as possible. I don't want you to be able to tell the difference between a color and an illustration. So I'm just going through adjusting the colors. See, and here this gradient, I made it darker. So you can see that it's a darker one, and then toward the top it's getting lighter. I'm just checking all of my... Yeah, because I missed something there. I don't know what I missed, but I missed part of the cream, making it the white for the detail. So now I'm just checking it, see where it's going. And I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to be able to pull this off, but I thought it was interesting. So I chose to invest my time and create one of these. Yeah, sometimes it's a challenge creating this viral food because you're not sure where it's going to go. And then if you do it and then you don't, the outcome is not what you expect. You're like, well, at least I tried, I guess. Or you spend your time trying to fix it. But the whole time I want to record the process so you can see how I see if it's good or not, if it's working. I mean, I've definitely created some fails before, recorded them just so you can see that not everything goes according to plan all the time, but it can be fixed because it's an illustration. And here I'm just coloring the detail. And most of the details will have the same colors. These details, the grays in the detail, are what is going to create the contour of the cream. It's going to give the low lights of the cream. Or in this case, it's going to be in the mid layer. So it's going to lay on top of the cream, and you're going to see those are the divots in the cream. It's not just one smooth texture. There are some colors and some textures in the cream itself that are going to give it that contour, give it that shape that I'm looking for. See how this cream kind of slopes in like that, and then it goes up at the top. And this was half eaten. And that's why I chose this particular one. See, I'm borrowing the colors from this gradient, from the reference photo itself. Saving those in a new swatch. Now I know my two colors at the end are going to be my gradient for this actual shape. Show where it was fried hard, and then the other part where it's a lighter, where it was sticking out in the fryer for the sandwich. Just going through, adding a little more detail. And I want to get the colors precise, and I'm going for that photorealism look. And this is something, and this was kind of an idea I had, that I might want to take this, and who knows, I might want to put a maybe like Bugs Bunny or something like that, and show them holding part of this Japanese cream sandwich. See here, I'm just borrowing the colors from the actual crust itself of the sandwich, and I'm adding the textures of the bread straight onto the cream itself, showing that the sandwich bread is actually crusty and it's flaking off. Specks of it are getting into the cream. Yeah, I'm always double checking the colors, seeing where and when to add parts and bits of the crust itself, making sure that these shadows that I've added are accurate. See, and there's little bits and pieces that create part of the realism in the end. And not all of them are going to be the same tone or texture. And that's why when you don't make them the same tone and texture, it creates a more shapely cream. Then you'll see it's not just a flat texture. It's a different shape, a different texture of what's going on here. So sometimes it goes up, so it creates one tone of color, and then sometimes it goes down, which creates a whole nother tone of color. And me turning them on and off, I'm just trying to see where I'm going with this. Trying to see exactly where I'm at. Because I usually just follow the reference photo and then kind of see where I'm going from there. Sometimes I follow it, sometimes I don't follow it exactly. But it's just a reference. But in this one, it's just going for photorealism, so the reference itself is just kind of gathering where I'm headed with this illustration. And when they say vector, see all those dots there? That's what vector is. The more dots it is, the more vector it is. The less dots, then the more of a picture it is. And when you're trying to print something, say a DTF and see, this is really nice. See, I like that. See the gradient? It adds that contour that, see, it looks like it's being scooped, if you will. Or it looked like something was run across it, and the right part is high and the left part is low. And that's what I'm creating there. It's just creating the contour of the cream itself. But I couldn't leave it white, and the reason is because the cream is going to be white. You gotta remember, the background cream is still white, so I cannot make, as nice as it may look, I cannot leave all of these details white. I cannot leave any of them white, because they're just going to blend in with the cream itself. And the background cream is going to be almost stark white. That's why I have to tint these. I have to make these the color of a little gray or maybe a little brown, because I cannot have them to be the same as the background color. It's the same with the bread here. That's why I'm adding all these shadows and all these details to the bread. But I know in the end they cannot mimic the same tones of the end product, which is going to be the fried bread. They need to either be up or down in color. Yeah, see, I'm just choosing the gradients, just trying to get them right. Do I know what I'm doing? Not really. Sometimes I don't feel like I know what I'm doing at all. But I'm always trying to pay attention to the end. If I can get the end correctly, then I know what I'm doing. I guess I'm trying to get better at these voiceovers. I really don't like the sound of my voice. I mean, I think who does, but at the same time, this is something that I really enjoy doing and kind of explaining the process and the thoughts behind it. And the first person I really seen with a Japanese cream sandwich was probably on YouTube, a guy named Jack's Dining Room. I really saw what he was doing when he was in Japan, and I was like, wow, okay, all right. And I liked it. I liked what he was doing. I liked what he was saying. I liked that he went and got the actual product itself. I thought it was kind of strange he didn't try to learn a little Japanese, you know. He was trying to speak English in Japan. I don't know, if you're going to Japan, I mean, do you really want to speak English? Because you don't want something to not be authentic, or you don't want something to be more Americanized. You want, exactly what, the Japanese receive. Here I'm just creating a new swatch for a new color. Was once again just checking to see. And some of these grays play a big part in the end. I think in the end you'll see how much of a part that they play into the actual details of this Japanese cream sandwich. This vector illustration is one of those that I don't know what I'm going to do with it in the end, but it's nice to create because I can do a lot of things with it if I choose to put it on maybe in some apparel, or choose to create and put something on a promotional item. I mean, you just never know. Maybe I might choose to put it in a photo bank somewhere, in an illustration bank, where people can actually see and actually purchase it and use it for something. Use it for a digital purpose. Use it for maybe a purpose of apparel. Maybe something that they're gonna make, have a little teddy bear or something holding these Japanese cream sandwiches. I mean, you just never know. So that was the whole point and the thought behind this. Yeah, but feel free to let me know if you don't like these at all. I'll definitely go back to the instrumentals. I mean, I'm not 100% sold on my voice. I prefer not to use my voice. I don't like the way it sounds. I don't like being recording it, but at the same time, I thought I would try something different. Yeah, see here, these are just creating the details for the actual sandwich itself. The contours of the bread. Trying to pick the right colors because I cannot use the same color as actual base bread, the sandwich bread. So I'm just trying to get it to a point of how can I create the contour, how can I create depth, how can I make the bread look crispy without putting a whole bunch of things in there that just don't make sense. And here I'm just checking my layers, see where I'm at so far. And see, it's actually taking shape. I actually really like this. This is one of those illustrations, man, it just really surprises me. And it just kind of confirms, like, the details are paying off. The details pay off. The more details you add, they'll pay off. Just maybe play with the colors a little bit so that you can see and kind of go along with your illustrations. But you'll see that the details pay off when you continue to add them this way. And see, when I add this gradient, you see I'm trying to make the bread, make sure that it's not flat. I don't want it to be one flat color. I want it to look like it's shaped, like it's kind of round. It's, there's some details going on there and some textures going on there that actually give the bread some credibility when you look at it. It's not just one flat shape. But yeah, see, the same with this one. And see, this one's half eaten, so it's going to be held on, I guess that would be the right side, and the left side of the sandwich itself is partly eaten. So you see how the gradients do? They just create that roundness of it. You can kind of see it there, how round it is. And I thought about putting maybe hands, some people holding it, but I thought to myself, I have 4 different parts of the sandwich. I don't want to have 4 hands in one photo. It's not gonna be right. So I just decided I'm doing them like this. Yeah, they're floating, but these elements are just gonna be part of something else in the end. I won't keep them just floating like this. I'll probably create a bear or something, and maybe have something, maybe like the bear's mouth will have cream on it, and then he'll be holding one of these sandwiches, and maybe he'll say, I have a saying in Japanese. I thought that would be kind of different. And see, I kind of go back with the bread. That's what I mean about leaving things alone and coming back to it. See, before it was flat. Now I know, okay, it worked for the other 2 sandwiches. I need to add a gradient so that you know this is the down part of the bread, the part that's under the light source, and the other part is at the top. Man, you can see I'm just wrapping up here, and this is pretty much done. It's pretty much a wrapola for this crapola. I'm good to go. Yeah, just once again, just double checking the bread. Put a little more detail in the bread itself. The sandwich bread, that is. Yeah, that's not going to work, so I thought maybe adding a little light part to it, and I was like, that didn't work. And go back, just stick with what I had. And sometimes that's another thing, you got to let to know when leave these illustrations alone. Because sometimes you can do too much or add a color, and you go, oh, I need to go back 2 or 3, 5 steps maybe to the colors that I had and to the contours that I had, the shapes that I had, and finish it off that way. And subscribe if you like this kind of content. If you like these illustrations, if you like these voiceovers, let me know if they're any good. Subscribe, like the video. And here we are with the big reveal. These are the details, the highs, the mids, the other layer, and those are the background, the outlines. Let me know if it was any good. And until then, I'll see you on the next one.